What's going on, guys? Josh here, living life alcohol free out here on a snowy day, thinking about perfection, what it was like as a drinker when I was thinking about how things should go. I thought it should be perfect. I thought everything should just go the way that I thought it should go. I thought it should go perfectly. And when it didn't, I came unglued. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about today, man. It was so difficult to live like that. Every little thing that I thought was going wrong, I would lash out at. It could just be a minuscule little chore. And I would, if it didn't go my way, I would just freak out, lash out, lose it. And man, that caught up with me. Eventually, I just became what I didn't want to be my whole life. I looked at that. I looked at that like because it was a situation where my dad was somebody who would just, freak out over the smallest little things. His day could be going perfectly. It could just be one good thing after another. But as soon as something didn't go his way, like his food wasn't good, the server didn't do a good job, they brought out the wrong thing, whatever it was, he would lose it. And then it would ruin the rest of the day for him and for me. And so as I got older, I started to see that I was kind of following in those footsteps. As much as I resisted it and didn't want to, uh, the drinking kept me in that cycle of like perfection. I just expected everything to work out perfectly. When it didn't, I was like shocked. I thought life was supposed to be easy. I thought life was supposed to come easy. I would look around at people that everything was going perfect for. It seemed like, and I would think, I wish I had that. You know, I would drink because of that. I would look around, and things came so easy to certain people. I kind of got a gist of why that was after a while. I would sometimes it was because of their faith. Sometimes it was just because of their demeanor, like that they just grew up that way. They were easygoing and relaxed, and for the most part, I felt like I was pretty easygoing as it was, but it wasn't like that. Like people would always tell me, like, you're so relaxed, you're so calm and cool, and I would be like, yeah, I mean, I am, but at the same time, behind the scenes, they didn't see the ugly side of Josh, and it was ugly. It was not something that was pretty. Um, it was ugly, and I would just kick and scream and lash out and throw a fit, and it didn't really become a problem. And it's not funny. I don't mean to like make light of it, but at the same time, I can look back on it now and think like, man, how far have I come in this life? uh, I have my days now, we all do. But in particular for me, I mean, I do have days where I'm not my best. I have situations where I'm not my best, but I take them kind of with a grain of salt. I take them in stride. If there's a difficult person I have to deal with and they're not acting to my liking, I take a deep breath. I take a big 4 second in, hold it for 6 7 seconds, and then release it. For 7 8 seconds. And sometimes I could just get like a couple deep breaths in, just a couple quick ones, and I feel better. Or I'll pray. I'll if someone that I'm driving for my job is just a pain in the butt, and I have a few of them, not a lot, but I do have every now and then. I do have some. And man, I wish I didn't. And sometimes I have them in my car for 5 minutes. Sometimes they're in there for a half an hour. It depends. But at the same time, I try to, I give it, I give it some weight. Like, man, I can't stand this person, or God, I wish I could just drop this person off. And then I would kind of like laugh at myself before and after the fact. Like, I don't handle those situations perfectly. I don't think anything is perfect, but I don't think we need to strive for perfection. I think what we need to strive for is just betterment. We need to just strive for improvement. We just need to strive for, just strive for good. You know what I mean? Strive, and we can strive for excellence as well. But For me, whenever I would strive for something that was, perfect, it always fell short or I was disappointed. So, but to go back to that time, it was like, those situations where things didn't work out the way that I thought that they should, I would drink at that, and I drank at that for a long, long time. And for some of us, now we have kids, now we have families, and it's difficult. Or maybe we have a job and we have coworkers that are difficult, and we have to deal with those people. And um, when they don't act the way that we expect them to act, we can lash out, and then we can feel guilty, or we can go home feeling that anxiety, feeling that pain, that struggle, that internal conflict that we know we don't need to lash out. We know that we don't need to take it home with us, and take it out on people that we love, but we do it, and then we feel bad about it. Then we feel guilty, and then we say we're sorry. Maybe we don't say we're sorry. Maybe we're not sorry. Maybe we have such deep resentment that we can't let it go. So we just expect that this is the way that it is, and we live that way, and it's miserable. It's not fun at all, and it's not, maybe it's not perfect, maybe it's not, but it doesn't matter, because this is the way that it's going to be, and this is the way that it always has been, and that's the way that it's always going to be. And it's that kind of all or nothing thinking that keeps us wrapped up in addiction. A lot of times, I might not hear what I want to hear as far as like money wise goes, or I might hear something from a boss that says something critical, and maybe like when we have the engagement, or the employee year annually, we have the feedback, and they might say something or a few things that lead you to feel like, what, you don't get me, and at the same time, I look at that like, this is a job, you know what I mean? It's just work. We just go there, we get a paycheck, and we go home. It's as simple as that. It's cut and dry. That my mindset changed on that a long time ago. um, I felt like, and I posted on the community this morning, but I posted that, like, man, it just seems like when I found this job that I do for like, I'm a driver, and I got this job in 2019, it kind of felt like that was kind of my calling. It's not a grandiose job. It's not this job that I was striving for the past 10 years before that, or more, working my way up the ladder, but it was a circumstance in my life where I didn't need to work that kind of a career job anymore. I just needed to work a part time, or even if it was at the beginning, it was almost full time. As the years have gone on, it's been a little bit less hours, but at the same time, uh, my point is that I kind of found my calling, like driving. I love to drive. I love, even in this weather, it doesn't really bother me. I drive. I like to go places. I like to do things, and to get there, I need to drive. And I learned at a young age, because I got that DUI when I was 19, that I don't want to lose that privilege of driving. Driving is a privilege, and it's something that I love to do, especially like if I don't have anything to do, I like to go take a drive. If I make a plan to go drive somewhere far away, I anticipate that occasion, and I can't wait. And part of the excitement is the drive. Just going from one place to another, seeing things that I haven't seen before, or seeing things that I haven't seen in a while. Those are things that bring me joy. And when I'm out on the road for my job, I love it. That didn't solve everything for me, but I realized this morning that I used to have my bosses like be critical of me, and I haven't had that happen in a very long time. And part of it is I'm not expecting perfection anymore, not of the job, not of myself. I don't expect perfection, and I don't, and that's been a huge blessing in my life. And that's carried over into when I quit drinking in 2020. I just I learned that this wasn't going to be easy. Life was never going to be what I thought that it was going to be. When I quit drinking, I didn't know what to expect, but as I went longer and longer into my being alcohol free, I started to recognize that I was striving for milestones, and when I would get to those milestones, and I would have expectations of what it might look like when I got there. When I got there, it didn't look anything like I thought it would look. It didn't, and that's not a bad thing. It's not bad at all. It's it, it was able to open my eyes to the fact that we make up in our minds how something should be, how something should go, and the ultimate outcome. But it's rarely what it seems to be, made up in our minds, made up by society, made up by the evil forces in our minds that tell us that this is how it should be. And that's a lie. It's a lie. It's not like a lot of things are not what we expect them to be. And if we can get to a place where we accept that, we're going to go far. Life is not easy. It's complicated. Recovery is not easy. It's complicated. It's jagged. It's up and down. What works for me might not work for you. What works for somebody else might work for somebody else, might work for you. But it's trial and error. It's figuring out, what does work, what doesn't work. And then when we get to that reach that goal, we kind of realize that, what, the main goal was the adventure. The main goal is to enjoy our life. It's about quality of life. It's not about drinking, or it's not about expecting perfection from our spouse or our job or our kids, or it's just about doing the best that we can with what we're given, expecting, that if we have to do something that's difficult, that it's going to take time. I jump into a lot of situations where, and this is all self inflicted, but I jump into situations thinking it might take me a half an hour to an hour to accomplish something, only to find out it's taken me 3, 4, 5 hours. And then sometimes I do get pissed off. I'll be honest, I'm human, but at the same time, that's my own fault. I should understand and know at this point. I think we all do, especially those of us that are sober and living life without alcohol and who once leaned on alcohol to cope, is that things just take time to work out, and sometimes it takes work. And then if we don't want to do the work, then we're going to be frustrated when it doesn't come easily. And so that's what I got for you guys today. I hope that you can find solace in recovery, find solace in being alcohol free, and find that having high expectations and expecting perfection, it's easier to not. It's just not. I don't think any of us I don't think, for me, I'm faithful person, so God doesn't expect me to be perfect. I mean, I'm expected to make mistakes, to sin, if you will, and I'm expected to, falter here and there, but I'm also expected to repent, and I'm also expected to admit when I'm wrong, admit that when I'm making a mistake, or admit when I'm thinking, not thinking rationally. Those are all things that are expected of me, and I can do that, and I can do that with grace because God has given me grace. And so, whatever your thought process is on that, and your belief system on faith and spirituality, just take solace in the fact that we don't need perfection to get alcohol free. We just need to live life alcohol free for a day, see how we feel, give it another day, see how we feel. And after a few days or a few weeks, we start to recognize we feel so much better, not expecting this world to be what we think that it should be, because it's really not. And but it can be our own world, can be our own world view, can be easier to deal with once we are accepting of the fact that, hey, nothing's perfect. As long as we're loved, as long as we give ourselves grace, we're going to go far. So I hope you guys have a great sober day. Check in for the next video on Sunday. I'll probably be on a live stream one day this week, probably Thursday or Friday. So I hope to see you there. And have a great week, everybody. We'll see you soon.